Ambassador Thelsera had been warning them for 3 standard cycles. Her scaled hands trembled as she stood before the Galactic Security Council, her tail lashing in agitation, a sign of extreme distress among her people. "You do not understand," she hissed, her translator struggling to convey the desperation in her voice. "The humans are not like other species. They do not forgive. They do not forget. Once you make them your enemy, they will hunt you to the ends of the universe." Director Colvor, a towering insectoid from the Zeta sector, clicked his mandibles dismissively. "Ambassador, your concern is noted but ultimately irrelevant. The human colony on Epsilon 7 has violated trade agreements. They must be taught compliance. A small military action will suffice." "No!" Thelsera slammed her clawed hand on the podium. "You are not listening. I have studied them. I have lived among them. Humans are persistence predators. It is encoded in their DNA, woven into their very culture. They will chase you across galaxies, across centuries if necessary. They never, ever give up." Council member Vixen, a gelatinous being suspended in a containment suit, burbled skeptically. "Ambassador, you speak as if these creatures are unstoppable. They are barely a level 3 civilization. They have no planet-killing weapons, no dimensional drives, no quantum shields. What makes you think they pose any real threat?" Thelsera's eyes, all 3 of them, fixed on Vixen with an intensity that made even the emotionless gel being recoil. "Because I have seen what they call history. Let me tell you a story." The chamber quieted. Despite their skepticism, the council members knew Thelsera had spent 20 years on Earth as a diplomatic observer. If nothing else, her testimony would be entertaining. 12,000 Earth years ago, she began, humans were primitive hunter-gatherers. They had no claws, no fangs, no natural armor. They were weaker than the predators that hunted them, slower than the prey they needed to survive. By every logical measure, they should have gone extinct. But they didn't. Do you know why? Because they developed a hunting technique called persistence hunting. They would select a prey animal, say, an antelope, and simply follow it. 4 hours. 4 days. The antelope would run, exhaust itself, rest. The humans would catch up. The antelope would run again. The humans would follow. Again and again, until the animal's body gave out from exhaustion and heat. Then the humans would walk up to it and claim their kill. Director Colvor interrupted. "Interesting biology lesson, Ambassador, but hardly." "I'm not finished," Thelsera cut him off, her voice sharp as a blade. "This is not just biology. This is psychology. This is philosophy. This is who they are at their core." She activated a holographic display, showing human historical records. "Look at their wars. The Second World War, they fought for 6 years. 6 years. Most galactic conflicts are resolved in months. They lost millions, saw their cities burned, their people slaughtered. And they did not stop. They hunted their enemies across continents, across oceans, into bunkers buried deep underground." The display shifted. The Cold War, 40 years of relentless competition, positioning, waiting. Not even fighting, just the promise of fighting, and they maintained it for 4 decades. Their space program was born from this. They chased each other to the moon out of pure competitive spite. More images flashed across the screen. They hunted pirates across the Somali coast for years. They tracked terrorists through mountains and deserts for decades. They spend lifetimes pursuing justice for crimes committed generations ago. Nazi hunters, war crime tribunals, cold case investigators, they have entire institutions dedicated to the principle that no matter how much time passes, someone will remember, and someone will come for you. Vixen burbled skeptically. Ancient history. What of modern humans? Thelsera's laugh was bitter. Modern humans? Let me tell you about Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen, a human I met on Epsilon 7. Her grandfather was killed in a mining accident caused by corporate negligence 70 years ago. The corporation thought it was forgotten. Sarah spent 30 years of her life gathering evidence, tracking down executives who had long since retired, building an airtight case. Last year, she finally brought them to justice. 30 years. She never stopped. The ambassador's voice dropped to almost a whisper. Or consider the human named Rob Kenny. His father abandoned him when he was 14. It broke something in him. So do you know what he did? He created something called Dad, How Do I? A digital archive teaching millions of young people the things a father should teach them. He turned his pain into a decades-long mission to ensure no child would feel as abandoned as he did. This is what humans do with their grief, their anger, their need for justice. They transform it into eternal purpose. She turned to face Director Culvor directly. You want to attack their colony? You want to teach them compliance? Let me tell you exactly what will happen. The holographic display shifted to show strategic projections. Your fleet will arrive. You will destroy some ships, maybe occupy some territory. You might even win the initial engagement. And then, for the rest of your civilization's existence, humans will be coming for you. They will study your technology until they understand it better than you do. They will learn your language, your culture, your weaknesses. They will send agents to infiltrate your society, and humans are excellent at mimicry. They will wait years, decades, generations if necessary. They will build alliances with your enemies. They will turn your own people against you. And one day, maybe 10 years from now, maybe 100, when you have forgotten about that little colony on Epsilon 7, when you think you are safe, they will strike. Not in a glorious battle you can defend against, but in 1,000 small cuts. Your economy will collapse. Your allies will abandon you. Your leaders will face tribunals for war crimes. And humans will be there, at every step, relentlessly pushing, never stopping, never forgiving. The chamber was silent now. Even Culvor had stopped his dismissive clicking. You think I exaggerate? Sarah's voice rose with passion. There is a human story about a whale, a simple animal. It destroyed a ship, killed some crew members. So Captain Ahab hunted it. Across oceans, through storms, sacrificing his ship, his crew, his own body. He died trying to kill that whale, and humans have been telling his story for 400 years, not as a cautionary tale, but as something they understand, something that resonates in their souls. She pulled up another file. Or consider the Voyager probes, simple machines launched into space over 2 centuries ago with messages for alien species. They are now beyond your empire's borders, still functioning, still carrying humanity's greeting to the universe. The humans who built them are long dead, but their mission continues. This is what they do. They start something, and it does not end. Council member Zareth, who had been silent throughout, finally spoke. The avian being's feathers were ruffled with concern. Ambassador, are you suggesting we simply ignore the trade violations? I am suggesting, Sarah said carefully, that you negotiate. That you compromise. That you find a solution that does not involve violence against humans. Because the alternative is making an enemy that will never, ever stop being your enemy. Director Culvor straightened his thorax, attempting to regain authority. The council cannot appear weak. We have protocols. If we make exceptions for humans, then you make exceptions for humans. Sarah shouted. Pride is not worth eternal war. Your protocols were written for species that fight until they tire, until they calculate the cost exceeds the benefit, until they decide to pursue other interests. Humans do not tire. They do not calculate costs the way we do. They do not move on. She brought up one final image, a simple photograph of Earth from space. Do you know what humans call themselves? Homo sapiens, wise man. But their scientists debate whether they should have been called Homo persistens, persistent man. They are the only species on their planet that can run marathons, that can consciously override their body's demands for rest, that can choose to continue when every biological imperative screams at them to stop. They climbed the highest mountain on their planet because it was there. They dove to the deepest ocean trench for no reason other than curiosity. They sent probes to the edge of their solar system just to see what was there. They have already begun planning missions that will take generations to complete. Missions they're great. Grandchildren will finish. Thelsara's voice became quiet but intense. So I ask you, council members, do you really want to make enemies of a species that plans in centuries, that pursues grudges across generations, that has elevated never give up from survival strategy to cultural religion? The silence stretched. Finally, Vixen spoke, his burbling now thoughtful rather than dismissive. What do you propose, Ambassador? Renegotiate the trade agreement. Send diplomats, not warships. Admit the original terms were unfair, which they were. Give them respect, and they will give you partnership. But attack them, even slightly, even with justification, and you will create a blood feud that your species will regret for millennia. Director Calvor's antennae drooped, a sign of resignation. This is highly irregular. So are humans, Thelsara replied. That is precisely my point. The vote was called. It was not unanimous. Pride is strong in all species, but wisdom, in the end, prevailed. The military action was cancelled. Diplomatic envoys were prepared. As the council adjourned, Zareth approached Thelsara. Do you truly believe they would have hunted us forever? Thelsara looked at the avian being with her three ancient eyes. I know they would have. There is a human saying, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. They know revenge is destructive. They know it is costly. And they do it anyway. That is not a flaw in their logic, counselor. That is their nature. She turned to leave, then paused. We should be grateful they are willing to be our friends. Because the alternative. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. In the end, the trade agreement was renegotiated. The humans of Epsilon 7 were satisfied. Peace was maintained. And somewhere in the archives, Thelsara's testimony was filed under Species Assessment, Critical Priority Humanity, Approach with Caution, Respect, and above all, Friendship. The note at the bottom, added by Calvor himself, read simply, Never make them hunt you.